Hi, I'm Tammy Reynolds. I am the missions chair here at St. Paul, and I am also the person who is blessed enough to be able to run the Ukraine mission ministry here at St. Paul. And I know most people know who I am and who my husband Matthew is, but we have some new people who have joined us since we've been under lockdown, and so I just wanted to introduce myself. Because we've been under lockdown and being closed off from one another, some things have been out of sight, out of mind. One thing I hope that has not been out of mind, though out of sight, is the children in the orphanages in Ukraine that St. Paul United Methodist Church supports. Even though we have not been able to physically go overseas and be on the ground with our team there and work with the children hands-on for the past last summer, this past Christmas, and even this summer we won't be able to travel there. We do have ministry teams in place that are doing our work for us. And by our work, I mean the Lord's work that St. Paul is doing on behalf of what he calls us to do. We've got local Ukrainians that are in the orphanages visiting the children as they've been allowed. Of course, they've been under lockdown like we have been here. And for the longest time, we weren't able to get our people into the orphanages to see the children. But we were able to, through Zoom calls, through Skype, through communication with the directors, make sure that they had the things that they needed, make sure that the children still knew that they had not been forsaken, that they had not been forgotten, and that the Lord still loved them. These are the scriptures that we work all the time to teach the children about, that they are loved and that they are cherished. And so our people still being able to do that on behalf of St. Paul kind of further drove that point home. Now that we're back in the orphanages, being able to physically be with the children, hug the children, kiss the children, deliver your love to them through our ministry partners on site, they are eating it up. They are just as hungry for the faces and as hungry for the kisses and the love as our people are, and certainly as my husband Matthew and I are. We have had a lot of children that were sick. There was one point that we had children in the hospital with tuberculosis. At one point we had 116 children throughout the 4 orphanages that we work with that were in the hospital with tuberculosis at the same time that COVID-19 was running rampant in the community. So we had our children in the hospital with the COVID patients, no one being allowed to go in and visit them. And hospitals in Ukraine are not like hospitals here. You don't get food in the hospitals there unless somebody brings you food. You don't get medicine in the hospitals there unless you have someone who's able to go and get that medication that the doctor says you need. You go to the pharmacy and you get it and you bring it into the people that you love that are in the hospital. These orphan children would have had no one to bring them food and no one to get medicine to them were it not for what you do for those children through this ministry. I hope that now that the church is starting to open back up, that we will be able to share more with you about what's going on in the orphanages there. Again, I don't want y'all to forget those children. They certainly have not forgotten about you. I get messages all the time from the children, from the graduates, and of course weekly when I talk to our ministry partners over there, messages from the kids and the directors, and how are we and how is our health. They are as worried about us as we've been worried and concerned about them. So thank y'all for the few minutes of your time. I appreciate it so much. If you have any questions or concerns, reach out to Matthew or I through email or call the church office and Kathy will get you in touch with us. We are so blessed to be your representatives there. Thank you for allowing us that. Love you guys. Paka.